Hello, YouTube. I have finally finished this Sundog project. Very excited. So, for those of you, I was gonna say who don't know, but for all of you, Sundogs is my role-playing game, and the primary, the focus of the game is on these aircraft that are also mecha hybrids, kind of like what you see in Macross. So, I learned Blender to make, my little model, but after that I decided I could make models for my Sundogs game in Blender, and I've been doing that. This is the first Sundog in my second generation, I suppose. I've put a lot more detail and work into this model than the previous ones. I'm a lot better at Blender too, so that's definitely part of it. Not resolution, but the models, this model is a lot more intricate than the old ones. And I'm very, very proud of it. So this one in particular it's an air superiority fighter. It's a fighter jet that's meant to take down other jets and high priority targets, like high value targets like bombers and stuff. It's in the rulebook. It's going to be like very agile, very fast, and it's going to be probably specialized towards guided weapons instead of firearms. Going to shake things up a little bit. This model here, this fighter, I'm calling the Falx. Like, is it Falx? I'm not sure. It's a very old word. That's the name for an exotic forward curved sword. I like it a lot. I decided to name it after a forward curved sword because it uses forward swept wings, which is sort of an exotic aircraft feature that I like a lot. I love the way that forward wings look. It's so cool to me. This is also based on, you can probably tell, a bird, corvids specifically. I wanted the AVEM in the previous set of Sundogs to be like a bird, but it turned out more like a pterosaur crossed with an ostrich, which was not really my original intention. This one is much closer to what I wanted. I'm just panning around a little bit so we can get a look at this thing as a jet before we see what it looks like as a mecha. But yeah, let's move the stage down a little bit so we can see the underside here. These, like this section here, these are the legs of the machine, but they fold up really nicely. And we've got these auxiliary thrusters too here built into the legs. I'm trying to make sure I don't angle into the stage, but it's kind of in the way. So let's move it down a little bit further. So we've got these auxiliary thrusters down here. Normally they face straight down, and their intakes are up on the top here, in this gap between the wing and the tail. Very nice, very nice. But more than that, they rotate on an axle. Let's see if I can do this right. I think I have it selected. Yeah, see, like this. Oh, phooey, it's still not quite right, huh? Oops. I guess I have the origin in the wrong spot. Dang it! Oh, yeah. I know why that happened. But you'll see when we're posing the thing. Just take my word for it that it's supposed to rotate correctly. The origin point used to be on the hinge, or maybe it still is, but I moved the geometry around a bit. Anyways, in pose mode it works fine. In pose mode it works just fine. It has some iconography on it here, some markings. This like Dove Poppy logo here for the Dove Initiative from the game setting. And it has this personal marker here, this sort of like spiny circles within circles, maybe gears sort of design here. I just drew that in paint. I don't know if it means anything specific, but I thought it looked really good for this particular aircraft. Yeah, so on the center pylon here, which I'll show you later can move around a bit, we've got a rotary gun pod, probably some kind of, like rapid fire laser weapon. probably short range, spreads a bit, a lot of damage, that kind of thing. And on the wings, we have guided laser emitters. I don't know how that works in the setting exactly, but you know, it's homing lasers. Because in the new Sundogs setting, for rules reasons, I decided that I didn't like ammo as a mechanic, so I decided that we're just going to use energy weapons for everything. And we're going to add like a heat meter to the game so that, you know, instead of limiting your attacks by how much ammo you've got, it's going to be like when you attack a lot, your heat builds up and that applies debuffs to your machine. That kind of thing. So, laser emitters. Homing lasers instead of homing missiles. You know, lock-on lasers instead of lock-on missiles. Very nice. Yeah, so you can see like these rounded joints here. Like you can see these 3 circles on each leg. Those are where the joints are. And I think we've panned around this machine enough. Oh, one more thing. It's got air intakes on both the top and the bottom of the fuselage. I don't know if any real-world aircraft do this, but I think it looks really cool. So I decided to, you know, make that a central feature of this plane. It's only got 2 engines in the back, but, you know, the engines are fed with air from both the top and the bottom. I love the way these engines look. You've got like a sick divider in between them. They're kind of like clamshell shaped. I think it's really cool. I think it's extremely cool. And the tail, of course. Again, like, this is science fiction, so some of the aerodynamics on this might be a bit weird. Like the feathers at the end of the wings. It looks too cool to have it be like just a straight edge on the wing. I know that's probably better from a physics standpoint, but it looks so sick like this. The feather pattern looks absolutely sick, and so I have to leave it that way. Same with the tail here. That looks extremely cool to me. Yeah, all right. So now, if I open my armature here, and I press pose position, ta-da! Ta-da! Check that out. So now I'm going to take my stage here, and I'm going to approximate it up into the right position. We just kind of drag it to about there. Ba-boom. So this is what it would look like, you know, in sunset mode, standing on the ground, as a mecha. It still has full use of its weapons too. So like the laser emitters are right here. Let's see. If I switch to wireframe view, it'll be a little bit easier to see this. They're attached to the inner portion of the wing instead of the outer portion. So they're still totally usable either way. The top, like, outer half of the wing folds up over top of the body. There's no weapons attached to that portion of the wing, so it can rotate freely without any worry about that. And this center pylon here can rotate up and down so that when you're standing on the ground, your gun isn't pointed towards the sky, and you can move your neck around a little bit more. So let's turn off wireframe. Make bones are visible. Good. So if I click on my armature, can I just jump into pose mode here? Yes. So like, this is a ball joint, so we can spin it around like this too. So we can aim in different directions like that. Like pose mode is kind of annoying because like you have to leave your armature visible. So sometimes it sort of obscures what you're trying to show off, but like, see, it can rotate left and right. It can rotate up and down, of course. So full range of motion on this thing. Well, it'll collide with your air intakes eventually, but you can aim it pretty well down, like that. There is a blind spot between the legs that we can't reach, but, you know, there's always restrictions to every design. Another thing that's cool about this is that the tail is on its own bone, so it can lift up away from the engines on the ground. There's not like a need for it to do that technically, but I think it looks really cool. It looks more like I mean, that's what birds do with their tails. Some birds do. Their tails kind of lift up away from the ground like this when they're like standing. I didn't want to move the whole engine up like that because that would be way unrealistic. Macross. But if we just lift the tail, it looks pretty sick. That's nice. And you can see what I was talking about here with the auxiliary thrusters. They're angled away from, like excuse me. Use your words, Bimby. They're rotated. Stay in pose position. Get our edit mode. I'm trying to click on pose here. There we go. And if I turn this on, you can see that they rotate. Not on that axis, just on your red axis here. They rotate like this. So you could use them on the ground too. Or when you're in flight, you could rotate them to be parallel with the leg to give you an extra set of engines in the air. That's also really cool, I think. An extra set of engines in the air. I would have showed that to you in model mode, or object mode, but for some reason my origin's not in the right place. Well, I just forgot to move the origin. But you can see what I'm talking about here. You can move your auxiliary engines around like that. So that's cool. Put that back where it was. Oh, there's another important feature to this. You might have noticed there's wheels here on the heel of the legs. There's 4 wheels in total. I just have a couple of them hidden right now. So if we go back to rest position, I'll show you what this thing would look like on the ground. Because this one has built-in landing gear, which is another thing I'm very, very proud of. Built-in landing gear. So if we scroll down here under our armature, I can toggle these wheels back on. Get out of pose mode. And I have these other 2 wheels here. If we open our numbers panel and we reset, excuse me? Oh, that's my O key, not my 0 key. If we reset their locations back to 0, there, we've got a set of 4 wheels. Now, there's also some doors on the side of the legs here that the wheels would pop out of, like that. Check it out. That's pretty cool, I think. Got some extra, a little bit of extra detail there that you don't really strictly need, but I think it looks cool just to be able to see, oh, the wheel goes up into that box. And the wheel slides down this, you can kind of see it. There's a groove on the inside of the heel that the wheel can slide up and down so that it's out of the way when you're flying around, but it can sit flat as far down on the ground. So if I move the stage up a little bit, just about like that, you can see how it sits on the ground like this. Kind of. The stage isn't totally touching the wheels, but it's pretty close. You see what I mean? I'm really proud of that too. That's another very nice feature. Very happy with how this turned out. I will say, it does look slightly unbalanced. Like, the center of mass for this thing is definitely in the back, because that's where the engines are. That's where all the leg machinery is. But it does look slightly unbalanced. That's one thing I'm kind of not happy about. I'd like the front wheels to be farther forward for balance reasons, but I think there's enough mass in the back that it can get away with being like this. And there's not really an easy way to put the wheels any farther forward because... Ooh, not you. Viewport shading. I would have to put the wheels like farther up on the body somewhere, and they would have to like come way down on some really long like telescoping struts, and that would look weird. That wouldn't look good. That's what I had to do for the original AVM, and I was never happy with it. This looks a lot better, I think. This looks really good. Oh, another thing. So long as we're talking about landing gear and stuff, the wings, remember, because they have a joint here in the middle, we could actually fold the wings back like this to save a lot of space in a hangar. So you could have like 3 of these taking up the same space as just one with its wings spread out. Like that. I think this is really, really, really cool. It kind of clips with the tail just slightly. So you would want to... I do this in pose mode, but you would take the the further in section of the wing, like the one I'm highlighting right here, and lift it up slightly. You lift it up slightly so there's not collision with the tail like that. So you definitely can do it. I would just have to have a different pose set up, and I want to keep the current pose it's got. But yeah, you can do this too. That's really neat. This has so many cool features. Like, this model has so many cool features. I'm so impressed with myself that I've done it. Here's one more thing I can show you. This barrel, the rotary cannon here, is a separate mesh from the pod. So you can just take your green axis here, and you can spin the barrel. Check that out. That's just a fun little feature. So yeah, this is my Falx. It's the new Sundog, the first Sundog in the new set that I'm making for the new version of the rulebook that will come out eventually. When it does, it'll come out when it does. I have another idea for a Sundog too. Well, excuse me. I have another idea for an additional Sundog in this set. It's gonna be, not going to be, but if I make this one, it would be like a bat. The way this one's like a bird, the next one would be like a bat. And it would have big, like, propellers set into its forelegs that could rotate on an axis. Like the Osprey VTOL plane. You know, has those big propellers on its wings that can rotate so it can take off straight up and down and then fly straight forward. It would be kind of like that. It would be also a bat, though. That's another idea that I have for another Sundog. But yeah. This is something I've been working on for a very long time. I'm very happy with it. It brings me a lot of joy. Huh. Pretty cool. Yeah, thank you for watching. I'm so proud of this. Blender is my happy space, and this is one of the things I like to do with it. It's very fun. It's a lot of fun. Another thing, if you're still watching, on my Twitter, if you contact me via DM, I can make you a handmade Vroid model. They're going to be... The projects I'm interested in doing now are very, like, low scale, sort of like scuffy chibi models, that kind of thing. But let me know if you want me to make you one. They're a lot of fun to make. So I'm open to that. There's like a little video in my media tab, and I've quote tweeted it a couple times, blah, blah, blah. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.